When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fan fiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. Now this is part 4 of The Son of Brainiac. Let's continue our story where we last left off. As the roar of the crowd only increased, for the expectation of the next match, Deku was informed by one of the staff his next match will be in the Fighting Arena 2. He started to roam through the crowd towards his destination. It didn't take him long to locate the proper fighting ring. Deku calmly stood to the side and began to watch the fight that's currently in process. The fight itself wasn't all that impressive. Deku had a smirk behind his black metal face guard on the lower part of his face, watching the two humans fighting each other, eventually killing each other at the same time as their dead corpses begins to be dragged out of the arena. This arena seems no different than the other fighting arena he fought in already. Only difference is in the middle of the arena. Basically, it's a metal cage. It's electrified by electricity. The moment you make contact, a voltage of electricity will shoot through your body. Deku's name was announced, and he's fighting someone named Dobby. Dobby entered the ring with his hands in his leather jacket pocket, or it's a trench coat, I think, but that's not really important. Dobby could see his opponent in the corner of his eye. The moment Deku's name was being called, he made his way into the arena. The moment he got into the ring, the electric cage-like dome lowered down above them. Dobby immediately shot out blue fire out of his hands towards Deku. To Dobby's surprise and shock, he watched his blue fire collide with green. Eventually, their two fires start to cancel each other out until there was a slight explosion as the two fires dissipated, as he could see flying blue and green sparks of fire flying all over the arena. Not bad. You're good. I didn't think I would come across someone who actually had skill in using fire. This is going to be fun. Dobby couldn't ponder any further as he had to dodge several floating fireballs that shot towards him. Dobby is running around trying to dodge all of the green fireballs while keeping Deku in his line of sight. Dobby ran around Deku and shot out rapid fire shots of fire. By doing that, canceling out the green fireballs that were flying towards him. Deku flash-stepped right in front of Dobby, only giving him enough time to react to block the attack. Deku slammed his knee into his opponent, only to see his opponent block. But regardless of the block, Dobby was sent flying backwards across the arena ground. Deku only gave his opponent a little love tap, nowhere near his full strength. He would kill him in the first hit if he did that. Once Dobby had enough skidding around, he hopped onto his feet and immediately hopped backwards to get some distance and see his opponent. And sees his opponent has superior strength. His arm is still shaking when he attempts to block that knee strike he just received. Dobby immediately was on guard, considering his opponent has superior strength. It's clearly obvious to Dobby that his opponent has him beat on brutal strength and speed. He has to find a way to push back past his defenses and to land a direct hit with his fire. But saying it and acting on it are two different things. Dobby immediately begins to create more smaller but destructive waves of fire and shoot it at his opponent to test the waters. Deku dispelled the constant waves of fire with just a wave of his hand, cutting right through the blue fire, dispersing it, cutting right through it before the fire could even touch him, as wind pressure was created. That mostly cut the fire in half. Shit, that's not good. Engaging this guy in close range combat is basically suicide, just by his pure physical strength along with his speed. I'm guessing most likely has large endurance, most likely impressive stamina as well. But attacking from afar is no good either. See, you're finally caught on to your current circumstances. You got me there. Sadly, I'm inexperienced when it comes to fighting someone with actual fighting experience and talent. May be true. Who knows, you might get lucky. Deku put on the pressure a little and charged at Dobby with incredible speed and land a super fast spin kick, launching Dobby into the electric fighting cage as he was immediately electrocuted as voltages of electricity shoot through his body. Then he hit the floor once as his back is smoking. If I didn't block that kick, that would have killed me. He's as vicious with his hands as he's vicious with his feet. Luckily, my leather trench coat is somewhat immune to electricity. Otherwise, my lucky coat would have been totally destroyed. Deku raised up his hand and waved his hand right in front of Dobby. a highly condensed small grain of a fireball, basically, materialized in his hands. As it is hovering over the palm of his hand, Deku kicked the fireball as it was sent flying towards Dobby. Dobby was unable to dodge as the fireball landed a direct hit into his chest, making Dobby skid backwards. While Dobby was skidding backwards, he shot out a rapid fireball of his own at his opponent. Deku waited for the fireballs to get in range and immediately began to kick them back to their original creator. Of course, Dobby had to roll out of the way from his own attack, from being kicked right back at him. Deku's eyesight was blocked off by a bright flashbang that Dobby made with his fire to temporarily compromise Deku's line of sight for a few seconds. Once his vision returned, he noticed he's inside a spinning, flaming tornado. Deku noticed he's inside the middle of the flaming tornado, as Dobby is to his right. Dobby was breathing heavy as he tried to control this attack. He doesn't want to, if you lose concentration, the flaming tornado he just created with his cremation will most likely lose control and disperse. As Dobby has a smirk, "I win, you lose." As the flaming tornado instantly began to shrink in size. Eventually it shrunk, and as the tornado made a slight contact with Deku's skin, as it exploded with a huge smoke covering the entire ring. Dobby got away enough where he wasn't get hurt by his own attack, as he just stood there a good distance away and staring at the cloud of smoke. Just in case if that wasn't enough to take him out, Dobby was smart enough to do so, as a gust of wind dispelled all of the smoke, to see Deku wiping the dust from his clothes, like it's an average daily activity, just be hit by a flaming tornado. A fascinating attack. What is it called? Of course, he's not even damaged, as Dobby finally responds back to Deku. "I just made that up on the spot. It doesn't have a name yet." It was indeed an impressive attack you have there. If you were fighting anyone else, you would sure be the victor. But sadly, you don't have the necessary power to challenge me. You don't even have the necessary power to even damage me. But I'm a fair man. From this on forward, I will only use my telekinesis. Telekinesis? Of course. So that's how you gain access to your fire. You must have cryokinesis. Something like that. You would be amazed if you were fortunate enough to have a strong enough telekinesis and train into it, eventually granting you side abilities of a strong telekinesis quirk, or power, no matter how you want to look at it. But enough about that. Shall we continue? I'll give you the first hit. Right here, on the side of my chin. Dobby has a vicious grin. You're gonna regret that, are you sure? That's not up to you if I regret it or not. True, as Dobby rushed forward and swung his flaming blue fire fist at Deku. Dobby was surprised. He just stood there and allowed him to hit him, as it made direct contact. As a wave of blue fire shot out of his fist, engulfing Deku. The wave of fire immediately dispersed, revealing a very amused Deku. It's more like it, as Deku lands several palm strikes onto Dobby's upper body and lower body, as he landed a powerful palm strike in the middle of his chest, hitting Dobby directly as he went flying into an electric cage once again, as he was electrified as he ricocheted off the cage to the ground of the arena. Dobby coughed up blood. Damn, that was brutal. I could tell how his movements are. He's holding back. That's just insane. The mere thought of this juggernaut holding back is a scary thing. So the rumors are true. You indeed killed Hawks. Dobby struggled to his feet. I know I won't be able to win against you, Deku. It's just a bad matchup. Hey you, referee guy. I forfeit. As the announcer announced Deku the winner of the match, Dobby could have continued, but it was pointless, apparently. Deku somehow immune to his fire, alongside impressive speed, strength, stamina, and durability, and access to telekinesis he hasn't displayed. He has no doubt he has access to it. You can tell by the look in his eyes. A losing battle from the start. Only question is how bad he was going to get beaten down before he called quits. Fortunately, he left the battle with a couple scrapes and fracture. Nothing broken. Dobby, take this. Dobby caught the business card with the address on the back of it. That's the current location to a rally point. You're clearly skilled, and you would be quite useful in the league. So the league. I've heard rumors of them. I didn't actually think they actually exist. The League of Villains. Interesting. It does, and I'm one of their recruiters. Do you say you're interested? I want to think about this for a little bit. What's the time frame? Take your time. If you haven't given me an answer by 2 weeks, I'll come find you. Thanks for the interesting battle. As Deku left the ring, he was quite pleased with himself. He didn't have to use any of his telekinesis, so his opponent are unaware of how skilled he is in that category. He could easily one-shot everyone in this place except for the new god and the strange-looking girl next to her with the black hair. He's basically referring to Blackfire. But that would be cheating if he did that. It wouldn't be any fun. He's enjoying himself and he's fighting in these death matches. Dobby sat down on Deku's table by sitting on the empty booth, drinking a beer. Think I'm gonna stick around you for a little bit. I have no doubt if I hang around you long enough, I'll get dragged into something crazy shit, and you seem to be the type to attract that sort of trouble. He has no idea how right he was. I have no complaints, Dobby. Just don't get in my way. You'll live longer. Duly noted. Dobby's smirk never left his face the entire time when he was threatened. So what exactly is your main goal here anyways? You don't seem the type to like this sort of thing. Don't worry about it, I'm just a recruiter for the league. And if you accept you be my first recruit, I'll recruit some extra bodies later, but I'm interested in this fighting arena thing. And there's a specific fighter I'm interested. As he watched the new god enter the arena. You're in luck. She's fighting next. So you want to fight that chick? She doesn't look like much. Don't be fooled by her appearance. Unless you want to die a very painful death. Yuri's name was finally announced. She was extremely excited watching Deku fight. And the moment her name was called, she immediately began to make her way into the arena. She's excited to fight Deku. She's already pumped up for that battle. She can't wait for that fight. But she has to get rid of the non-important factors first. Yuri's opponent finally entered the ring. As the ring cage lowered down, as the metal cage begins to emanate electricity, Yuri's opponent seems to be a young girl with long black hair. Yuri instantly began to attack her. Yuri was getting a bit irritated by having each of her attacks just miss every time. Yuri charged again to see her attacks miss its target. Yuri was since skidding backwards from a kick from her opponent. I see, so that's how you're doing this. It won't save you. You can slow down time. Interesting. Then you know you can't win this. I could slow down time on command. How can you defeat something that you can't even touch? You lost this battle the moment you were faced against me. It's quite simple. I just have to move fast enough, then you could activate your ability. Yuri flash stepped midair, slammed her fist at her opponent. Her opponent slowed down time just in time to dodge out of the way as Yuri hit the arena ground. She might have missed the initial attack, but the shockwave that she made her opponent unbalanced. Yuri immediately capitalized on her opponent's weakness and landed several spin kicks combo onto her opponent. Then Yuri ultimately kicked her opponent into electric cage that shot jolts of electricity run through her body as she screams and falls to the ground unconscious. Yuri calmly walked out of the ring to see her opponent no longer have the strength to continue. I've waited long enough. Referee, start the next match. Deku, get in this ring and fight me. Glad I'm not you, Deku. Deku calmly got up and made his way into the arena. As the cage begins to lower down once again, as sparks of electricity can be seen throughout the entire metal cage. I have high expectation of this battle, so please don't disappoint me. As Yuri got into her fighting stance. I got my own expectation in this fight as well. As Deku got into his stance. Like I said, you're not the only one who has high expectation of this battle. Deku and Yuri charge at each other, exchanging blows after blows, as the crowd can be heard. I misphrase that. As the crowd can hear shock waves when their two attacks collide with each other. As Deku and Yuri collide fists once again, Yuri actually pushing Deku back, giving Yuri the perfect opportunity to land a solid blow as she landed a palm strike into his chest, making Deku skid backwards further, but ultimately stop before he could hit the electrified cage. Deku couldn't relax as his danger sense could be felt, as he had to dodge several blows from Yuri. Deku landed a solid kick across Yuri's face as Yuri was sent skidding backwards. Yuri stopped her momentum from that last attack she received from her opponent. Once Yuri got her movement under control, she blitzed towards Deku with unnatural speed and began to engage in hand-to-hand combat once again. Yuri threw out a punch. Deku met her punch with his own, as their fists collided with each other, making wind pressure. Yuri broke through Deku's defenses and landed several powerful blows, making Deku shoot backwards, almost hitting the electric cage. Deku's eyes began to glow green as he shoot heat vision. As they begin to move around like their omega beams. When Yuri dodged the beams of heat vision, flew around her from behind as the two beams hit her in the back, making her go flying forward a few steps as Deku landed a vicious palm strike, uppercut, under her chin, making her airborne as Deku appeared right above her in the air and kicked her down to the arena ground. Deku landed on the arena ground and noticed his opponent get up to her feet. Deku blitzed forward and landed a devastating spin kick as Yuri goes flying across the cage as she was beginning to be electrocuted by the electric metal cage, or dome basically. Then she didn't seem to be affected by the electricity shooting through her body. Yuri calmly walked away from the electric cage, like being electrocuted did not bug her one bit. Yuri immediately began to channel and shoot out energy beams out of her hands towards Deku. Deku, of course, met her attack with his own shots of energy beams out of the palm of his hands, as the beams collide with each other, canceling each other out. Deku and Yuri fly towards each other, proceed to go into a power struggle, using their own physical power, trying to push each other back as their hands interlock with each other. Yuri was surprised how strong he is. He's actually overpowering her. She's never been overpowered before. She broke the power struggle by slamming her knee into the side of Deku's ribs, then proceed to spin kick, landing a drag hit across Deku's face. Deku stepped backwards a few steps from the impact of the kick, but he couldn't relax, as several pink energy orbs appeared all around him and immediately detonated, making several smaller explosions go off of pink energy. Didn't have enough time to absorb any of the energy, so he simply tanked the attack by crossing his arms across his face. When smoke cleared, you could see a very uninjured Deku. He might not have been injured by that last attack, but you can't say the same thing for his clothes. Not been injured by that last attack, but he sure felt it. So that's what pain feels like. What an interesting scenario. What a very interesting sensation. Impressive. No one has ever survived that attack before. Worry not. I got more in a tank. Let's take it up a notch. Shall we? Deku channeled a large amount of energy in the palm of his hand and condensed it as he released energy as a beam of light fly towards Yuri. Yuri immediately dodged as the energy shot through the arena, destroying everything in his path, killing dozens of villains and criminals. Deku begins to hover in the air. Let's relocate for our battle. I agree. Yuri begins to float and follow Deku. So did Blackfire, and Dobby wasn't too far behind, running out of the underground destroyed fighting club. Deku landed. After blasting a hole out of the underground fighting arena, Deku landed on the deserted street, still in the sealed part of the city. Yuri did not wait for her invitation. She immediately rushed forward by throwing continuously left and right hooks at Deku. Deku easily dodged every swung. Her current speed, Deku's inner thoughts. She's good. I could tell her swings are getting faster. It's getting a lot more harder to dodge her attacks. Are all new gods so adept in combat? Or is she just rare when it comes to these new gods? I wonder if fighting all new gods are going to be like this. I might have to seek them out to test my test my theory. I'm going to have to put that on hold for now. I have more pressing issues to deal with first. Deku is broken out of his inner thoughts by Yuri slamming her fists across his face as Deku shot through several buildings from the force of the impact that he received by Yuri. As Deku stopped moving, he removed the large rubble that landed on top of him when he crashed into one of the buildings and got up to his feet and began to walk out of the wall of of the destroyed building and flew. Deku didn't have to look hard for Yuri. She just stood there in the middle of the street with a smirk on her face. I hope you learn your lesson. Try not to get distracted. I want your full attention. Only on me, only. If you don't, you're gonna die. Trust me, you have my undivided attention now. They rushed towards each other once again, with their fists collided, making sonic booms as wind pressure was created once their fists collided with each other, as all the windows in the nearby area shattered from their clash with each other. Instead of continuing their endless clashes with each other, Yuri blocked Deku's last attack, then proceeded to break his guard and slam several palm strikes into his chest. Then Yuri grabbed a firm grip onto Deku's arm and flipped him over her shoulder as he hit the street hard, as spiderweb cracks could be seen underneath Deku as she grabbed onto him by the collar of his shirt and threw him into a nearby building. Deku finally got up to his feet after pulling off the large rubble that landed on him once again. I'm already getting tired of being thrown into buildings. It's starting to annoy me. Deku flew out of the building and flew towards Yuri and slammed his knee into her stomach as she was sent into several buildings. Eventually, when Yuri came out of the building, flying out, she had to dodge several beams, dodge a green beam of heat vision coming from Deku's eyes. Yuri had to maneuver around the beams. Yuri noticed the beams are following her, churning around in odd angles. She notices moving like omega beams, just from the movements alone, so she was right. He has complete control over his heat vision. Yuri reflected Deku's heat vision with the palm of her hands. I was right, you're a Kryptonian. Something like that. I'm curious why a Kryptonian's on this planet. Your species is almost instinct. But we'll have to leave this at that. We'll leave this as a tie. For now, Deku. Don't know it already. I'm Yuri. I would love to continue our battle, but because of our clash, the natives have noticed. The heroes will most likely be poking around here because of our battle. You're probably not wrong there. Very well. We'll continue this. We'll continue this at a later date. That was some display there, man. Dobby, I'm surprised you're still here. And missed that battle you just had with that chick? That wasn't gonna happen, man. I told you I was gonna stick around for now. I'll join this little league of yours. It sounds like fun anyways. If you notice, Yuri was already gone. Let's go. The heroes are most likely going to be roaming this area very soon. Deku opened a portal away from the area. Once they exit it, they're still in a sealed part of the city, but they're currently alongside currently a long way from the scene where the battle was Deku and Yuri made from the scenery of all the destroyed buildings. So what's the next plan? So what's the plan, boss? Boss? Deku raised his right eyebrow at Dobby. You know I'm not the boss of the league, right? That doesn't really matter to me. You're powerful. You're on the same level of All Might. I highly doubt the boss of the league is all that powerful compared to you, but I'm guessing you have a reason for working with the league in the first place. Bet I do. The League of Villains are a means to an end, Dobby. A means to an end. But to answer your question, we're here to recruit some pawns for the league. Deku and Dobby went around the city recruiting disposable pawns for the League of Villains. After gathering enough bodies, he ordered them to the rally point, where they're to meet up with their new boss. Deku opened a portal to his lab, as Dobby followed him shortly. Portability you have is quite handy. Dobby was suddenly taken aback by all the very high-tech laboratory he found himself in, and brainiac bots walking around. Of course, he doesn't know what they are. He just sees very advanced robots straight out of a science fiction novel. What is this place? Consider yourself fortunate. You're the first person on this planet to see my personal laboratory in person. You have an odd way of phrasing that, Deku. We can talk freely here. We won't have to worry about being overheard or spied upon. Not even the League of Villains know where the location of my secret laboratory. Who exactly are you, Deku? The things I've seen you do, not even All Might could do. You have several abilities, and I have a feeling you don't have, and I have a sinking feeling that you don't have a quirk. Your instincts are spot on. I don't have one of those quirks, but I've been studying them. With the knowledge I have so far, I can lessen your drawbacks to your own quirk. As Dobby's eyes slightly widen a slight bit. Is that even possible? Only been a rare few that study the quirk gene to such a matter, but in theory it's possible. I just need to analyze a sample of your blood to see where improvements could be made. And I'm ungrateful for the offer. But why? What do you get out of this? It's quite simple. I have future plans that doesn't involve the heroes and villains or this entire planet. Don't tell me you're telling me you're like you're a little green man. Deku is amused by that term. In simple terms, yes, I'm one of those little green men you're talking about. I'm not human. I might look it, but I'm not human. What you say is true. Judging by your actions so far and your workings of the League, I'm guessing you're not here for world peace. Deku had a devilish grin on his face. No, I'm not here for world peace. I'm here for the opposite. Allow me to properly introduce myself. I am Brainiac 1. He gave Dobby a bow. I'm on this planet. I am going by Deku. I won't bore you with all the scientific details. But I am what you call a biological android. Let's just say this planet doesn't have a future. Let me get this straight. You're one of these little green men, and you're telling me there's other life on other planets besides this one? You're Dobby, you don't know the half of it. There's definitely life on other planets. You just saw me fight against one after all. Dobby looked confused. What do you mean? That trick you fought Yuri? Indeed. She is not human either. She is what you call a new god. I won't bore you with all the details of her species. It's not really important now. I could use some allies. Not for the invasion of this world that I'm planning, but after when I'm done with this planet. What I'm really after is going to be a lot more intense. So what do you get for invading this planet exactly? It's quite simple. My father sent me out here to earn experience. When I invade a world, I usually take one city and shrink it down. Once I learn all the knowledge of their history and their culture and other necessary information that I think worthy to collect for my collection, then I blow up the planet. So what you say, Dobby? You on board? Dobby only smirked at Deku. I'm not stupid. If I refuse, you would kill me. Anyways. But the idea of going on the other planet and getting all sorts of mischief across the galaxy does intrigue me. Very well, boss. Count me in. Dobby and Deku shake hands. As long as I get to kill the number 2 hero, Endeavor. Conditions are acceptable. Now let's get to the rally point. Deku opened another portal. When they exit, they're a block away from the huge warehouse where all the recruits are gathered up. Deku eventually got there and stand by Shigaraki as Shigaraki begins to spat out his speech. Deku wasn't really paying attention too much, but he does notice the humans are hyped up to kill the number 1 hero, All Might. After everyone went back to the headquarters, Shigaraki turned to Izuku, or Deku. I noticed you did your own recruiting, given the new face by your side. Name's Dobby, boss man. Yeah, I'm sure I'm delighted. As long as you're not a weakling, we won't have a problem. Trust me, he's nowhere near weak. I fought him myself personally. You know how to contact me if you need any more assistance. As Deku opened up a digital portal. Let's go, Dobby. As Deku and Dobby went through the digital portal back to Deku's personal laboratory, Deku just got a shipment of human samples for his research. Dobby could see several people in containment cells. What's with all the people? They're my research samples. Dobby just shivered at the mere thought of people as mere samples for his research. Deku led Dobby through a couple hallways and went down the elevator as they finally got to the living quarters of the laboratory. This is the living area. The living quarters of my headquarters. Feel free to pick whatever room you want. I have a couple things I need to work on in my laboratory. Come find me if you need anything. Deku walked away and went up the elevator to go back to his main laboratory and to begin doing his work on the killing robots and quirk research. That's where we're going to stop it. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Judge my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.